If you're an NBA fan, the first question going through your mind is probably, why should I care about the NBA Cup? Last season, we had the Lakers winning the in-season tournament. This season, they've been eliminated from contention. This means we'll have new tournament champions, which is by the way called the Emirates NBA Cup this year. So, if anything, what will this mean for the league? We already know the NBA has a problem with the regular season being boring to an extent, so they tried fixing it by throwing a competition in the middle of it. The public has had mixed feelings about it, and it's still early to tell whether this was a good or bad move in the long run. But there's another big reason why the NBA had to resort to such a thing, and it isn't just the money. Hello basketball fans, and welcome to Hoop Vision. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Takes only a second, costs nothing, and will give you access to more basketball stories. The NBA Cup, also known as the last year's in-season tournament, was an idea brought up by the league trying to spice things up in the regular season. The plan was to make a tournament within the tournament, making the regular season more interesting to watch as the games were supposed to carry more weight. On the positive, there was no intention of adding more games besides the original 82 ones, as that would have probably backfired. Players would have one more excuse for complaining about being tired and practicing load management. Instead, the in-season games were also counted as the regular season games. Only difference was they were played on a specially designed court that was a story in itself. People complained the only thing they were left with after those games were sore eyes, and for a good reason. The floor was too flashy and all the color brightness actually got in the fans' way of enjoying the game. Even the players couldn't help but notice the new design made the court more slippery, so that was another problem the NBA had to deal with. However, that was not the only issue regarding this new idea. If we asked a random basketball fan about the format of this tournament, there's no guarantee they'd know how to explain it right off the bat. To be fair, the entire concept is relatively young and it'll take some time to grow on the people, but what makes the biggest confusion is the overlap with regular season games. If the court was the same, many wouldn't even know there was anything else going on. Maybe one of the reasons it didn't catch up more quickly is that it isn't formatted in a classic basketball way. The NBA Cup actually resembles European soccer tournaments like the UEFA Champions League, which means group stage and knockout rounds. Those can be cool and entertaining, but they're definitely different from the way Americans schedule their sports competitions. Still, it's not like it's the worst idea ever. Adding some changes to the regular season was discussed for quite a while, and everyone would probably agree they were necessary. The tournament being here isn't the main issue, but the actual reason why it is here locates the problem. And the NBA had to do something about it. You see, the league introduced the in-season tournament with a public statement saying they wanted to increase fan engagement during the regular season, give motivation to teams to play harder, and maintain the high quality of basketball all year long. Was that true? Sure, but all of the above translates into one word: money. You've probably heard the NBA's numbers are at a historical low. Compared to last year, this season's opening night averaged 42% less viewers, which is huge at that level. That probably had to do a lot with Victor Wembanyama making his debut last year, but still, losing almost half of your audience on an opening night is more than enough to raise concerns. Right now, the NBA is on a 11-year deal with ESPN, ABC, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video, worth around $7 billion per season. That's why they're worried. First, if there's a massive drop in viewership, they could be forced to renegotiate a contract. Second, if the trend continues, they won't be able to sign a better deal after this one, which is probably what they've set as a goal in their financial projections. In the last 20 years, the NBA's numbers have fluctuated here and there, but they've been somewhere around a solid 1.7 million viewers per game. There's always an increase during the playoffs, which is nice, but it can't compare to the hype and revenue generated by the full 82 full regular season games. The reason the NBA is scratching its head is because the last season had the worst ratings since the 06 to 07 season, if we don't count in the COVID year and the one after that. The highest peak of the modern era happened in the 2010 and 11 season, when LeBron joined Miami. For 2 years, the NBA averaged 2.5 million viewers and around 2 million for 2 more years after that. The decision itself had around 10 million viewers, which tells you enough about LeBron's impact in the world of basketball. Even with him, Curry, and KD leading the league for the next half a decade, the numbers never went north of 2 million again. The problem also lies with the fact they'll be retiring pretty soon, and it looks like the NBA doesn't have the new faces to replace them. Sure, the new generation has great players, but in terms of being globally recognized stars, no one today can compete with KD, Curry, and LeBron. You just need to take a look at this year's Olympics to see they're still the biggest superstars in the NBA. When you take a look at who's supposed to take over the torch, there's not much reason for optimism. Jokic is known for seeing basketball as only a job, Embiid has a reputation for being always hurt and a crybaby, leaving leaving only Giannis as a true marketable guy. In the next generation, you have Luka, SGA, Edwards, Tatum, and other potentially great players, but it's still to be seen if they have that X factor to be the face of the league, and has been the only one to truly show that potential because it's not just what you do on the court, but also outside of it. He has the talking, the charisma, and the attitude, so if he develops a rivalry with some of the young stars mentioned, that could end up saving the NBA just like Bird and Magic back in the 80s. As for now, the 2024 and 25 numbers seem to be on the rise, but the sample is still too small to know what to expect by the end of the year and let alone in the future seasons. The entire NBA season consists of a total 1,230 games without the playoffs, so currently, less than 6% of them had been played. So this is where the NBA Cup is supposed to come in and make the situation more interesting. When the Lakers played the Pacers in the first in-season tournament finals, the numbers went off the charts. The game averaged 4.6 million viewers while the peak was around 6 million. Even the pregame show averaged around 2.1 million viewers, more than the regular games in the 23 and 24 seasons. This made it the most watched non-Christmas game since 2018, which is exactly what Adam Silver and the rest of the league were hoping for. So, will the Emirates NBA Cup change anything? Probably more than we expect. You see, the tournament switched names due to sponsorship reasons, and we all know when there's Emirates involved, there's money involved too. For starters, they're sure to push the tournament and create the hype around it in the future. Second, that entire region is still an unexplored territory when it comes to basketball. Dubai has been working on promoting the sport by joining the Adriatic Basketball League, and they've also invested massive efforts into becoming the host of the EuroLeague Final Four this season. UFC has increased the number of events held in Abu Dhabi for the same reasons. There's a huge market waiting to be taken over. Football clubs have been signing stars left and right, offering them crazy deals. Just take a look at what Al Nassr did with Cristiano Ronaldo. There's no doubt the NBA will follow the same pattern and take a piece of that market for themselves. As a result, we might see more and more games being played over there, just like we had promo campaigns in China, Africa, Mexico, and Europe. Players and the fans more interested. Right now, the Cup winner will get $500,000 per player, which may not mean much if you're a max contract superstar, but a lot if you're a rookie or a role player. The potential incentives have been widely discussed around the league, and one of the most popular suggestions is the guaranteed number 7 seed for the winner. By giving them a direct path into the play-ins, the NBA would not compromise the legitimacy of its postseason. This way, they'd fight for their spot in the playoffs, giving weaker teams more than a worthy goal in the middle of the season. Also, draft incentives are one of the considered options. Anything moving up in the draft from swapping picks would work miracles for teams' motivation to take this tournament seriously. And lastly, probably the most impactful incentive would be anything related to trades or tax aprons. If the winner was allowed to avoid some of the CBA rules that year or get tax benefits by winning the cup, just imagine how crazy the level of competition would be. There's a long way to go before the NBA Cup becomes so valuable in everyone's eyes, since we're probably still in its testing phase. However, it's not impossible that all of these benefits will one day come along with winning that trophy, so if you're an NBA fan, there's more than enough reasons to stick through and see what comes out at the end of all of this. That's it for today, Hoop fam. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments if you think the NBA Cup will stay for many years or not. Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See ya in the next one.